Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back on the Leviathan dev server, and it's time to have a look at one of the pre-order premiums that has come in for the game. This is the GNEISENAU, which is going to be in the German Blue Water Tech Tree, and basically, if you haven't ground out a bunch of the battleships, but you want access to the Bismarck quickly, this is the one to pick up. The other one is, of course, the Nassau, but that's going to be a rank 5, so it won't actually be able to research this at the highest efficiency. The GNEISENAU will be able to, since it's a rank 6. The way that research works when it comes to premiums is they're able to research at 100% efficiency, one rank above them, and everything else below them. So that's why the higher kind of rank premiums are more expensive than the lower ones, because they're able to research more stuff at better efficiencies. The GNEISENAU also has a massive amount of SL reward, so 1800%. You also have 678 RP percentages on it, which is also fantastically good. Very similar to a lot of other vehicles, so generally it's nice to see. And also, this vehicle is slightly different to the ones that we've already got in the tech tree. So the GNEISENAU, as a vehicle, is a Scharnhorst class, right? You can see it right here, the Scharnhorst. The difference is, though, this is not the GNEISENAU that existed. So this is actually, quote-unquote, a refit that was designed to be done, but never actually went through because Germany were getting hammered in the Second World War. So whereas the Scharnhorst has the 283mm guns, where it has 3 triple mounts, the GNEISENAU, which is labeled as a project, as you can see on the card here, actually has the bigger guns. It has the 380mm guns instead, which are similar to the Bismarck guns that you can see right here, the C-34s. So what the GNEISENAU has is basically the Bismarck guns with a slightly different setup, and it's also at 7.7 instead of 8.3. So that's the kind of big difference between the two. So it does have the 3 dual mounts, so 2 on the front and then 1 on the back. It also has a bunch of different secondaries on it. So you have a bunch of 150mm that you can kind of see around the place. You have some single mounted ones, and then you have some dual mounted ones like this one right here. And then you have the 105s, which are in these little mounts. You have 7 of those, which are also dual mounted. 8 dual mounted 37mm, 6 quad 20mm as well, which are all around the place too. Like you can see the different types of AA right here, and then also 8 single 20mm. So the German ships don't have as much AA as some of the other ones, but they do have a lot of use in other areas, such as their main guns being pretty powerful for the BRs that they're at. If we have a look at the X-ray as well, you can see how much is going on the internals. It actually doesn't have as much like massive amounts of ammo on it, just because of where the secondary armaments are set up. And then you also have the engines in the center, the transmissions near, and then 1 singular funnel. So that's how you can kind of tell what this vehicle is. It does have a really good fire director, but so does everything nowadays since they changed how the fire director systems work. And another thing that also should be noted is the Scharnhorst for the longest time was an incredibly survivable ship because of its armor and because of how it worked, and there's no reason why the GNEISENAU would not be any different, unless the turrets for some reason get popped, which they shouldn't do because they have a bunch of armor on them. So you have 360mm of armor on the front of the turrets. You also have on the ammo elevators 350mm of armor on these fake turrets on the GNEISENAU, 350 around the bridge, 320 on the side of it, and then 245 on a mini belt just slightly below it. You then have 45mm behind that, so that actually increases the amount of armor that is here. And then also you have this 35mm setup plus the 50 on top too. So a lot of armor on the side for a 7.7 vehicle. Remember, they're increasing the top BRs now to 8.7. So this will be on the lower end of the 8.7, but it really depends on how many players are actually playing each of the BR brackets. Since there's a huge jump from like 7.7 to 8.7, there's not a lot of ships which are actually in that area. They're just going to be the most popular ones. So it's going to be kind of hard to work out what's happening. So you have all these other pieces of armor that are on the ship, which are very similar to what made the other German machines pretty survivable, and you basically just have bigger guns on it as well. So you have the HE, which has 64 kilos of TNT. You also have 100 millimeters of pen, so just a donkey shell. Then you have the APC-BC, which has nearly 20 kilos of TNT equivalent and 700 millimeters. This is the shell that pretty much everybody's actually going to use. And then you have the HE with the base fuse, which has 32 kilos worth of high explosive, and also nearly, well, it does have 500 millimeters worth of penetration. So this is kind of the middle shell if you want a bit more damage plus more penetration. The HETF is here too if you want to have fun trying to shoot down planes. But I feel like with these vehicles, they have enough support from their secondaries that you don't have to worry about that. For the 150s, you have some HE, you have some SAP-BC, you also have some HETF, and some APC-BC too. So basically a decent amount of penetration, not a ton of explosive, but it depends what you're shooting at, as always with this type of machine. It does have actually a plane. I don't really know where they launched the plane from. We could actually have a look at that in the test drive. The other thing that this machine gets is the camo, since, you know, most of these premium vehicles do actually get some kind of unique camos to them. The other camos are basically the same though, so they're not really going to make a massive difference. But the standard one I think is quite nice. You have like the red turrets. You don't have like the big painting of the flag on the back of it or anything. That would have been kind of cool, but maybe in the future you'll have something like that. And then of course the flag on the vehicle too that you can customize and use different ones that you've either got from events, GE, or just general grinding. So the guns as well, one thing I do want to point out is they actually have a better reload than a lot of the other guns that we have in the game of the highest echelon, which will make them a little bit more fun to use. And also at the same time, it'll mean that you'll be able to get off a lot more damage than other vehicles too. So there's like the secondaries kind of going to work, taking out the poor PT-20 with the 20 millimeters, the 37s, and the bigger guns. And the way that they've changed the AA is that it is not going to be as good at aiming at targets which are kind of far away from it. Instead, it's only going to be good against vehicles that are going in a straight line. And this definitely doesn't have as much AA as like other things that you'll turn out. So let's see where this thing gets launched from. I honestly can't even tell where it's getting launched from. Is it? Let's see. Oh, it's like right in the middle there. Oh, there's the plane catcher. There you go. So this one uses the same kind of hydroplane that we've seen before on the German machines. So it has a little bit of oomph. This one actually gets the 20 millimeter cannons on top of that. I think this one you can actually get in the standard tech tree, right? Because it actually has quite a lot of oomph to it, which is pretty cool. And also with the machine, you know, getting the larger guns, basically the same guns as the Bismarck, you'll be able to output quite a lot of damage with it, whereas a lot of other machines around the level will have the slightly smaller caliber guns that will not do as much after every hit. So the GNEISENAU being at 7.7 actually is quite nice. It's going to, you know, be able to do what you need it to do, which is dish out a lot of damage, get a lot of SL and RP so you can get access to the Bismarck. The only issue is going to be how its survivability is after this update, because they're completely changing how a lot of the damage and survivability and all that stuff works. So for me personally, I hope that it's, you know, more standard, and I hope that everything works well, but usually after these updates, things go a little bit awry. So with the big guns, they'll do a lot of damage with whatever they hit, and also with the secondaries, it's not as potent as other vehicles around the place, but you'll still be able to hit some stuff with the 105s, the 150s, and all the other ones around too. Hopefully, it'll be good. Hopefully, it won't just face a bunch of AI, Hopefully it'll face a bunch of players and people can have like 4 battles with it, and hopefully people will enjoy it when they actually get it all sorted. So as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Warthunder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.